Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and admittedly there is one remaining Autobot quartet of Micromasters that I have not yet covered here on the channel, and it's these guys. It's the Autobot Off-Road Patrol, made up of Powertrain and Highjump, as well as Mudslinger and Tote, and these four little lads are going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your humble host, as always, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, man, hit that notification bell because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. From stop motions to countdowns to reviews like these. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, Transformers, Collectors, NL, and the Autobot family, and of course me everywhere across social media. And a long time ago, we started looking at the G1 Micromasters, and I very recently said, hey, we looked at everything from the Autobots, and we kind of did. Especially when we sort of topped things off in episode 600 with my ultimate Autobot base. But I did deliberately neglect to look at these four guys because I knew we had an update coming soon in the Siege line, and we'll look at that coming up very shortly as well. But I wanted to give a reminder of what made up this little set of four back in the day, back when they originally came out. And 2 out of 4 of these, of course, recently got updated, but we may have a third one kinda, sorta updated. I'll explain what I mean when we head over to the table and take a closer look at these lads. And so we do kind of go back in our look at the G1 Micromasters to cover the last of the 4-member teams that I didn't cover before. Technically, this crew is part of the 1989 kind of setup in line, but they came out at like the tail end of 1988 and had like different packaging or something. It's a bit weird. Both in North America and Japan, these guys, the exact same release. And of course, being G1, this was a team of 4, and they're fine little lads that make up our off-road patrol. To be fair, just before we look at these 4 lads, I will also throw out the idea that apparently sometimes the character of Crunch, the Dune Buggy, and Torque, an off-road pickup, are loosely associated with this quartet. I think that they kind of came into things as part of the old Dreamwave comics, if I'm not mistaken. Nevertheless, we're going to start off with the leader of the group, Powertrain. And I didn't think Powertrain was the leader of the group, honestly. I thought that the leader of the group all along was Highjump, but hey, what do I know? Apparently it's Powertrain. He is the exact same mold. He rolls fine. He's the exact same mold as Ironworks that came with the whole construction site-based thing. And the same thing is going to be happening in Siege. We'll look at that a little while later, but it's not the best, but like, I guess he's all right. We transform him by putting his legs down, we stand him up, we bring his little arms forward, and then on the back here, we turn his cab section around, and boom, that's it. We have him in robot mode. It's not the best one. The arms, they can go kind of only out that far. They can only go straight down by his side. They can't go all the way around. He can sit down that way, but he doesn't have knees. His feet are one piece, so he's kind of limited. Overall, in terms of these guys, he's one of the more limited ones. Looks fine, looks cool. I like the orange, black, and blue, but he's probably like a 2. Like, to me, this is a G1 Micromaster that's sort of like on par-ish with, say, something more modern day like Titan Masters. But he's not the only member of his team, and things do get more interesting as we go forward. And next up is the guy who I thought was the leader. Nevertheless, he's a cool character, as I have since learned, being good at infiltration and a lot of like cloak and dagger, like, you know, this is what the left hand is doing while the right hand is doing this sort of techniques. And, you know, he doesn't necessarily follow protocol, but he gets the mission done. And I dig the camper truck known as Highjump. And, yeah, I mean, you know, not much to say. I mean, these characters were in the comics. I don't think they even appeared in Zone, though I think that they were branded as Zone in Japan. Nevertheless, a little bit more of an interesting transformation here. The guy rolls tremendously well. For the legs, we straighten them down. Then we can come here and bring those little tires out, if you didn't do so already, to straighten out the legs. They'll kind of do it on their own. We come here and we bring the arms down on the sides, and then the hood flips over his back. And there we have Highjump. He's able to get in a seated position. His lower legs are two separate pieces, so you can bend them individually, though he's connected at the knees. He stands up just fine. The arms are like little stumpy, stubby arms. They don't move a whole heck of a lot, but he looks good. Note that the windshield and roof are his chest. Something to keep in mind when we end up looking at the Siege upcoming reiteration of this guy, because that's a bit different. Nevertheless, he looks good. I like the unique transformation, one of the best transformations because it's unique. I don't know, the articulation is iffy because of those arms. They don't do a whole lot, but I think he's a little bit better than his partner. I'm going to say this guy is maybe like a 3.5 overall. Thirdly, we have Tote, who in Japan is actually the leader of the group. So, you know, it's not Powertrain, it's Tote in Japan. He's basically really clever. He's quick-witted. You know, good at thinking on his feet, coming up with solutions. He's a little red van. He's great. Honestly, we don't have a modern update of this guy. However, in the Siege 10-pack, we did have the new character of Raikon, and yes, apparently it's pronounced Raikon, not Recon. And Raikon, I think, could kind of stand in for this guy. Honestly, I can sort of see it because he's a red vehicle Jeep thing like this guy. But nevertheless, we don't have an official update. The transformation for this guy, you flip down the legs. Now here's the thing that's interesting that I need to point out. The legs are actually on a little bit of a slider. So you slide the legs out, you bring them down, and then you kind of slide them. If you don't slide them the right way, they're not going to be able to straighten all the way out. So like, you bring the leg down, and it gets down about that far, and then you need to slide the leg the rest of the way on the slider to get it all the way down. Then you can straighten out the arms, and you can take this back end piece and flip it over his back, and there he is. I like this guy. You do have to know the little trick to his legs, so the transformation is interesting. The articulation is fine. Seated position, lower legs, two separate pieces. The arms, they could use some more articulation. They do get held up, but I like the guy nonetheless. Again, he's probably about a 3.5. Also, just at an interest sake, here he is next to Raikon, and you can see why I might say that, because they're both kind of red and grayish silver, though Raikon has a yellow face compared to the white face of the G1. Nevertheless, I could kind of see, like, I'd be down for an update of this guy, but otherwise, like, I'm sort of okay with associating the new character of Raikon with maybe this group. And rounding out this quartet is the monster truck that's not part of the monster truck team. In fact, this mold was reused for Grease Pit, who came with the gas station. I think that's Decepticon, if I'm not mistaken. It's a fine blue reuse of it. Maybe this was the one that came first. I don't know, but we've kind of seen this before. He's an alright lad. Again, he's about 3.5. When we do the conversion for him, the joints on this are so tight. We fold down the legs, we stand the guy up, and we pick up the head, and I suppose we can bring the arms forward like that. He can get in a seated position. Lower legs are two separate pieces. You know, you talk about things being built well. Man, oh man, 30, 35, 33 years later, whatever it is, and the joints on this are tighter than some of the joints we get on new figures. I think he's great. I mean, he's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I wish the arms had a little more mobility because they can't go all the way around. And though he can get in a seated position, and though his lower legs feel like, or are two pieces, they almost feel like they're one piece because they're sort of, the lower legs are sort of thin. He's fine. He's a 3.5. He's as good, I guess, as any of them. And there we go. There's all 4 of the boys, and they're an all-right team. Overall, I'd say the team is about 3.5. It's not... I'm saying 3.5, but it's because it's been such a long time since I've looked at these teams, and I've looked at so much since. I think for a very average middle-of-the-road team, I was saying 6. These guys are not quite average middle-of-the-road. They're a little more on the low end. Here's why. The colors, they look great. They look fine. I like them. The transformations are unique, but when we actually get them in robot mode, this is one of the less articulated teams. Not that any of them have great articulation, but at least some of them do have more than this. Arms at least can go all the way around. Some of these guys have knees. Some of these guys can get in that seated position. Others don't have knees. You know, we have this lad here who's the leader of the group, and I mean, his legs are joined together kind of in one piece. I don't know. Like, it's a good group. It's not my favorite group. Would I suggest, you know, having them if you're down for Micromasters? Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Because, you know, they're certainly good enough to, you know, fill the need that I think most collectors would have for Micromasters. I know that, if nothing else, even though I think the functionality could be a little bit better on a couple of them, you know, this guy, like I said, with his legs, this guy with his little stubby arms, I do like the overall look, and I do think that they add a nice splash of color to the Autobot team and to the Autobot display shelf. And here we are once again, and here these guys are. Mixed bag at best. We have some interesting transformations, something unique with Tote. And I do honestly think that Rycon makes a pretty decent Tote. I mean, granted the face isn't the same, but like I think it sort of works like almost like a baby Ironhide, if you will. We don't have anything for Mudslinger. That's a bit unfortunate. Maybe we will as the you know, trilogy goes on through Earthrise and whatever follows it. The truck. I don't know, it's not the best. There's no knees. It lacks articulation. I let it pass when it was Ironworks because the base was the standout star. But as a figure in and of itself, it's a little lackluster for a Micromaster. And of course, then that leaves this little lad in the end. I think this one is Highjump. And I love the transformation for Highjump. I think it's fantastic. But his little stumpy arms, they do leave something to be desired. So it's a mixed bag here. Are they a good set? Yeah, I guess. But they're not the strongest set. They're definitely not the weakest set. They're just very middle of the road. And the thing that gives them a strength isn't the articulation, it's the uniqueness of at least 3 out of the 4 transformations. Anyway, let me know what you think about these little lads. Are they your favorite set? Your least favorite set? I don't know. What do you think about them? You know I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. There's a donate link down in the description if you're in a position to help the channel. Don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every day, you do make a difference, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way, man. Right here inside the videos.